Hey guys, Artosis here. Welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We are continuing here today our 9 ladder game series between Bisu here in the bottom right and Soma in the top left. We're on Polypoid for game number 2. Bisu with a rather spectacular victory in the first game. I think he played super well despite losing some of his Corsairs and whatnot. What a great game that was. Bisu really showing his raw power. Now, I don't think the whole series would be like that. That would be an insane, an insane 9 games. But anyways, thank you for tuning in. Hope that you guys are enjoying. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, for hitting that like button, for leaving comments. You know, I do end up reading them daily, so thank you very much. And I always like to respond when people say, use Valkyries for carriers. It doesn't work. They don't do splash damage to interceptors. It's funny because that's like the most common thing I realize. It's the most common thing that I respond to in comments, because it's like people just have this base misunderstanding of how the game works. But yeah, if you guys do have any questions about certain strategies or units or why things aren't used, you can leave them in there. And if I look at it and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this isn't like a stupid troll or something, you know, I'll answer it and I'll let you know. So yeah, feel free to do that. Anyways, it is cross spawn here on Polypoid. As I mentioned, it is a gateway expansion opener here for Bisu. We see this a lot with the pylon on high ground. Anytime you have a position like this, you are going to have to make your second pylon down here, but this saves a lot of mining time. This really optimizes the build super well. And you know, that's just, it's always nice. Anytime you can optimize stuff and get more mining time, it is generally worth it. There are certainly points where it wouldn't be worth it, and I do try to point those out when I see them. But yeah, it's a huge part of the game. In fact, like, you know, okay, here's something I can actually talk about for a minute that I think will be interesting. Because right now he's faking a cannon rush, right? And someone's like, I don't think this is real, but they're doing the little micro for it, right? Just in case. But anyways, like, as far as things like optimizations for builds, normally, okay, and this is the same for me as well, right? So I played StarCraft for the full 25 years. I was playing, you know, mostly BGH the year it came out, but you know, I switched into competitive, you know, several months later after playing BGH, like kind of just like over the summer or whatever. But anyways, you know, it's a very common thing for people to think at first. At first, when you're playing StarCraft, you think, and it feels, especially in the old days, less so now, but it felt more like a strategy game, like chess or something, where it's like, well, I just need to find out the right strategy. And honestly, I see a lot of players that are not like super experts that are asking, they're like, well, I need a strategy. Like, how do I beat this strat? And it's like, okay, well, I can tell you a strategy answer, but really, you have to work on the mechanics. You have to, and also optimizations, which we generally don't even talk about because that's so high level. Whereas mechanics are more like make probes all game or SCVs all game or whatever it is, right? Make sure you're macroing and you keep your money low. But yeah, a lot of people start out thinking like, okay, this is mostly strategy. And then eventually, you know, you start figuring out, oh God, it's so much about macro and stuff like that. Yeah, micro matters. Yeah, strategy matters. But like, you really do need to be mechanically solid. And I think until you get to like a very high level of play, you don't really realize the difference the optimizations make till you're actually, ooh, that's a Zergling run by. I wasn't expecting that. I'm trying to inform people about the game, and look at that. Soma already with 2 probe kills. That's insane. Gonna go towards this mineral line. And this is annoying, but Bisu has dealt with this more times than we can count. He does have a Zealot across the map trying to do some harassment. It looks like he'll pull that back for now. So we definitely have multitasking going on here on both sides. Bisu's generally very good at this. Look at this. He sets that up in a very hard to hit area, only 1 Zergling at a time. So that's fantastic. It looks like these 2 Zerglings, yeah, they are still alive. He did get another kill with the Zealot. Oh, Soma slacking a little bit. Dude, look at this. Okay, so Soma here is using the range of the drone. The drone actually has more range than a Zealot, which is hilarious. But a Zealot is melee and a drone is ranged. Want you to think about that. Oh, wait, no, that makes perfect sense, actually. So don't think about that. That's obvious. But yeah. An SCV has less range than a Zealot. but a SCV is ranged. Okay, that's what I was, that's the thing I wanted you to think about. Okay. Anyways, like I was saying before, the optimizations, things like this, you start to really realize if you start playing against pro gamers, where you're like, oh my God, everything they have is several seconds quicker than me. What am I supposed to do here? Anyways, that was very long-winded to get to that. But StarCraft's a beautiful game, and every level requires different thinking and different strategies and different everything. Anyways, let's look at the state of this game now that we've actually had several interesting scuffles. Bisu is still somehow dripping zealots across the map in cross spawns and being annoying to Soma. Soma has a Spire on the way. He's droning up pretty heavily right now. Getting another macro hatchery. Let's look at Bisu's base. We have Corsairs being made. Citadel on the way, not choosing to do anything crazy like double Stargate this time. We have +1 on the way. Air attacks. Okay, so everything's pretty normal. You can this part's funny because he spent so many zealots out on the map and is still really trying to get more zealots out there. We'll lose that one. I think that's going to be it for a while, but barely has enough to hold his own wall at home. Does get a Overlord here, and this is kind of nice. He's already killed an Overlord. He's going across the map, still going to get a decent scout off, and that kind of shows you that he has slowed Soma a little bit this game. The fact that he has 2 Corsairs out before any Scourge are out, right? That shows that Bisu's overall, like if you look at this early game, it feels like it's just a little bit Bisu favored for sure. He's up 12 workers right now. He's getting a decent scout. He sees the Hydralisk den, so he knows Scourge are going to be popping out here shortly. Of course, interestingly enough, in the last game, there weren't Scourge to start. Soma started with 3 Mutas, which was very, very different. But here he has started with those Scourge. He's bringing these Scourge down at such an angle that he wants to catch the Corsairs, but he doesn't know exactly where this one is. He knows there's one in that general left-hand side of the map. So see how he's going down? He's trying to catch it. He thinks it might have gone all the way down to turn. And if it does, he can catch it. But it comes down here and he doesn't find it. So either Bisu's left it out here or he turned it somewhere else. And you can see Bisu turned it elsewhere. This Corsair is going to be able to get away easily. But this one, like, that is some really high-level dancing stuff. Because you know the speeds of them, so you know where it can be. But it doesn't necessarily need to be there. So you can do moves like where you just stop the Corsair or you turn the Corsair around. And of course, if someone was a map hacker, he'd kill it every time in that situation. But since these players do not cheat, they aren't going to be able to just walk out and catch it or anything. Now, Speedling's going to run into the natural here. The probes try to block, but they do get in the main. There is a cannon here. Since there's a Spire, Bisu was careful about that. He's going to send the Lings around to the other side. And yeah, he's going to be able to, ooh, not quite kill that probe. Great blocking here from Bisu, who, by the way, is getting a very healthy contingent of Corsairs. He's going to go up to 7, it looks like, with +1. I think that'll be the last one for him for a while. Trying to remember, but there's a certain number where it kills Scourge quickly enough that you're very happy. I could have sworn it was more than 7, but I see Bisu stop on 7 a lot, so it's probably 7. He's like, it's either 2 or 3 shots to kill a Scourge, which they'll be able to do in time if they're on attack move into Scourge that are stationary. Anyways, the Corsairs coming up. The 2 Zealots are tanking hits right now for the Corsairs. We're going to go ahead and pick off all those Overlords. So all the Overlords killed here. Soma might be in a little bit of trouble. He does have some Scourge over here, by the way. And here comes the DT. This is what Bisu is probably most known for, right? This great Corsair harassment. He's running around with the Zealot. See this? See how the Zealot goes up and he takes all the hits? The Zealot has higher attack priority for the Hydralisks than the Corsairs do. That's why he can do a move like that. Now, he doesn't get the Overlords, but he damages some of them. Here comes the DT. He has these Zealots. I think what he'll want to do is run up with the Zealots and the Corsairs right as the DT comes in. Well, these Zealots actually don't move, so I might have been wrong on that. He walks in with the Corsairs. The DT just sits on the side. Ooh, Scourge trying to come up. This is where you actually want to turn with just some of them to fire sometimes, but if he's quick, he can still click on the Corsairs and get them. And you can see he's doing that same type of move. He's going to the side some, and so Bisu turns, gains room, and turns around and shoots. Dude, StarCraft is actually, they say esports, it's mostly video games. But StarCraft is a damn sport. Like, it's beautiful to see the different moves that are going on. Like, he made space, turned around, shot the Scourge because someone was doing a move to catch them on their quickest flight path back, so he turned that. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Corsair's turnaround. Looks like that DT was cleared, so unfortunately that's not ready anymore. Hydra's coming in for a little bit of a push. Storm goes down there from Bisu. Dude, there's a lot of action. I'm getting chills right now. I'm having a great time in this PvZ. High Templars walk out with these Zealots. Is he just going to take a Nexus? Look at this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it was trendy at one point to go 6 gate if you wanted a quick third. Nowadays, it's mostly 8 gate into a third base. You know, just Zerg players have gotten really good at their macroing, at their attacking. Here, Bisu has looked at all the evidence for what's going on in this game. He's kept super active. He knows exactly what Soma has, and he's opted for that quicker third base. So that's a nice, timely, fast third base from Bisu. Love to see it, because I know that you guys watch a lot of PvZs on this channel, and a lot of them end with Protoss unable to get that third. Bisu's getting it super fast. And a lot of times they're starting this at like 13 minutes, and you're like, damn, they're running out of minerals. But Bisu's okay. Look at this. Healthy patches at the natural. The main is not really that mined out. Adding more gates now, going up to those 8 gates that he needs. Dragoons coming out as well. Observers already being made. He still has his group of Corsairs running around the map doing some great scouting. We have Soma setting up this position. This is a super powerful position up here. If you hold this with Lurker sunken, this area is not very breakable. I've talked about this before a lot on Polypoid. So this area kind of defends all of this. You can technically run up this way and go in, but if Zerg takes everything and shoves it at you, there's no room to micro. You're pushed against the wall immediately, so they can really punish that. So this is generally not an area you want to attack through. So that leaves like this small ramp and then this area. So you become pretty impenetrable if you go Lurker sunken up there. Right at this moment, we did hear an observer die. Soma is kind of scouting the map out. If we zoom out for a moment, sorry, I love zooming out. This is the best part of StarCraft Remastered. Look at this. He's got Scourge here, the Zergling here, Zergling here, Zergling. He has full vision across the map, right? So he knows nothing's on his side. Then he starts to come down, and he's like, okay, let's see if we can push in here. Bisu, of course, utilizing this base. This is the best way to play a Polypoid or a map that has a third that's a mineral only. You take this one to leapfrog onto the gas one, right? So the extra minerals from here, you don't go, oh, I can support 10 gates now. Instead, you go, oh, I can support my 8 gates while getting my 4th that has a third gas. Super, super important. Meanwhile, back at home, Hive is already done. We have the Defiler mount on the way. We have Adrenal Glands on the way. Melee attacks. Zerglings become super powerful with those Adrenal Glands. And of course, when you get Defilers out, they ruin the time of Dragoons. You think Plague is good against Terran? Look at it against Protoss. There is no way to heal from that. Incredibly, incredibly strong. So from here, we have to see, what does Bisu want to do? Is he going to go more like Archon heavy, more Psy Storms? Is he going to switch into Reavers? Reavers can be very, very good late game. Hard to say what Bisu's going to go for. Bisu now attacking up through the center. He's scouted the top right. He sees, okay, this is going to be the 5th base. The Lurkers are being burrowed so that he can hold this position very easily. Bisu's got a really strong army right now. Look at that. He's at 189 supply. He's got good setups all over the place. Soma right now, you can see him splitting his groups up. He's just kind of hunting right now. Look at this. See, runs in, picks off a High Templar. What, is he going to lose 3-4 Hydras for that? 100% worth it. You can see that his army is becoming more and more Zergling heavy, by the way. He's about to have Adrenal, +1 melee and +1 carapace for them. So they're going to be pretty deadly. Adrenalings beat, like, everything. And you're going to see, this is a smaller group. So he's not sending them all at once, because if they all come at the same time, then Psystorm can wreck them. He's being careful. He's setting up Lurkers. He's going to bring Lings in to slow things down. They're super, super cheap. And he actually only has +1 melee right now. +1 attack for Bisu. So actually the +1 carapace counters that. So now the Zealots don't even trade well with the Zerglings. The Zerglings actually trade better with the Zealots than the Zealots do with the Zerglings with the current upgrades that we have because of that Adrenal. More and more Lings. Look at that. He's making like 30 Lings at once right now. Has this area very well protected. Sets up a Nidus as well. Bisu in the meantime. Nexus over here. Corsair is just kind of scouting what's going on. This group of cracklings, this is going to be highly annoying because those are going to be able to get in here and shut this down before Bisu can stop it. Even with the quick zealots behind them, they can literally just go up and kill everything. Like, look. Bisu cancels the cannons, and this is just going to get canceled out immediately, and he has to restart it. Very, very annoying stuff. He's got to keep some units over here so that can't happen again. Now, going towards the center again, he needs to maintain some map control. This is really important when you have defilers out. Okay, the Ling's coming, and they are looking for little attacks. Like, little groups of cracklings can kill off Nexus with cannons quicker than you would imagine. But right now, what I was talking about is Bisu needs to roam a bit. Because if a defiler appears here, or appears here, the base dies. Dark Swarm, Plague, the base dies, okay? So you need to, it's just like with Terran as well. It's the same type of thing. The defiler's too strong if it's in your face. It will just cause too much of a problem. So he's got to roam around a bit and make sure that these don't make it across the map. Now, here comes the Plague. Insane Plague. They're going to bring all these down to super, super low health. Don't forget, everything does full damage to Protoss shields. So when you're taking away all their main health, it's like, oh yeah, you have +2 armor. Doesn't do anything. Literally doesn't do anything. Your shields are going to go away and you're just going to die. So very painful stuff. In the meantime, we do have the drop upgrade here for Soma. Bisu is getting this base up. Tons of cannons, gateways as well. He's going to want to throw out some High Templars, maybe some DTs as well. Throwing up another base also. Bisu trying to attack 12. That's kind of a crazy location. I don't think he can break that. Does throw down some Psystorms. It is a clumped up area, so Psystorm is strong there. But as you can see, Lurker Eggs on the ramp, Lurkers on the high ground, Darkstorm going down, not worth it. Bisu turns around. Looking for another entry point. I did mention before, this is a dangerous area to attack into. If you go in here and they have units up here and bring them down, you're against the wall. Bisu pokes, turns around. You can see these, this is hilarious. The cracklings come out and kill like 4 Dragoons because they were plagued. They chew through shields so quick, it's insane. Right? Plasma shield upgrades are very expensive. That's a big part of why people don't get them. Also, you have less plasma shields than you have health. So just generally the armor is going to be a bit better. But yeah, in a case like this, like the Zerglings are dealing insane damage so quickly. Now, Bisu rotating over here. He's going to try to kill this base off. Honestly, if he can deny this base and this base, he might still be okay this game. The Corsair's all going to die. That's unfortunate, but you're not going to see a Muta switch this late anyways. And we actually have Soma coming up and pushing right into this army that's pushing him down. Some decent Psystorms go down, but between the cracklings and the lurkers, he is going to be able to deny this hatchery kill. Bisu loses a huge chunk of army. This is painful, okay? I want to check if he has additional robos. So we have 1 robo, no robo, no robo, no robo. Okay, so he has shuttle speed coming, so he can harass some of these bases as shuttle speed finishes up. You can see 2 High Templar, 2 Zealot in there. So, like, I like that. That's a very good thing to do in the late game. But without Reavers, I'm getting very nervous. Because, again, if you show up to a base with a Defiler, it's going to kill the base. Now, you can Psystorm, and you can use Zealots, and, like, that'll do a lot under the Darkstorm still. But without those Reavers, you don't have consistent splash damage, and that's an issue. Now, here comes Soma's attack. Throws down those Dark Storms. He has some Lurkers. It's great. Psystorm's going down. You can see these Dragoons absolutely useless. Here comes the flank. This base is going to fall. Honestly, I think Soma might be very close to winning this game right now. He's going to be able to take out this base very, very likely at the moment. He's got tons of economy behind this. Maybe Bisu can just barely hold on. He does have these Zealots coming out right now. But, like, this is the type of situation where if you have 2-3 Reavers, it can start to turn a battle like this on its head. You can start to get a ton of damage, blow up a huge clump of Lings, kill off those Lurkers without taking damage yourself. As you can see, he's sending every unit he has into it. Right now, Bisu is down 30 supply. And it's like, okay, well, the Zealots fight kind of, but as soon as you add Lurkers in there, they're just not doing too well. DTs being added in. Unfortunately, there are Overlords up here. So, as predicted, as soon as a Darkstorm shows up, this Nexus didn't have too much of a shot. He is going to be able to kill that off. And honestly, I don't know that Bisu can do anything. He's got a decent bank, but not a lot of gas, and he's already lost like the core part of his army. So he's trying to produce from nothing into a real army, and the Lings and Hydras being macroed out so quickly from Soma are just overwhelming. I think that this is going to be a Soma victory, and I wish this game wasn't looking so bad for Bisu right now, because these two bases, when you see a Protoss get that much gas, maybe he can still come back. Maybe I'm calling it too quick, but it's just when I see this as your army 20 minutes in, like, this is not what you want. You need to maintain your roaming force that we had before. Even though the Dragoons aren't doing as well, you need some Dragoons in there. You need Archons in there. You need your High Templars staying alive, gaining value over time, right? Those are the types of things that are going to allow you to do other things. Now, we have a massive drop coming in. Look at this. Oh, my God. That is a lot of Overlords. All right, they are going to just drop on top of the cannons. So not even attack moving, just dropping. I think he was going to go for the main. And there's the Dark Storm. So the Cracklings are going to kill this quicker than anything you've ever seen. It's going to be crazy. So Bisu's starting to lose these bases, unfortunately. He does have cannons up in the main. So it is going to take more Dark Swarms to eliminate that. But down goes the Nexus very, very quickly. Bisu's starting to get that army again, but he needed it already to come over here and respond to what was going on. And of course, as you saw, the cannons being shut down completely. Reavers could have been helpful there. Obviously, Psystorm. Oh my God, 12 Ultras are on the way. Oh my God, is that the kind of game we're going to have? A lot of people ask why you don't see Ultras too much against Protoss. You absolutely can this late into the game, especially since you're getting all these melee and carapace upgrades. Like, he's about to have 3-3. These are going to be like 3-5 Ultras. And they are going to, like, the amount of armor they have, the Zealots are going to have a hard time against them. Dragoons and Archons do well against them, but under Dark Swarm, they do not. So definitely the Ultras can be useful here as well. They're not going to die to Psystorm too quickly. They don't die to Reavers too quickly or anything, although Reavers do chunk them pretty well. Looks like we had a storm drop over here. Only an Archon remains that will be cleared out. And yeah, we are going to have a hell of a lot of Ultras. Oh my God. That is insane. Now, Bisu has got himself a reasonable army again. He still has a reasonable economy too. 2 very well mining bases with gas. He's retaking this base, but his army is a little bit low tech. It's very, very Zealot heavy. And the Zealot heaviness here is going to be destroyed by the Ultras. Oh my God, here we go. The Ultras coming in for the attack. He is going to throw the Psystorms down. Obviously, Psystorm is good against everything. Damn, those are some good Psystorms. Does he actually have enough? His Dragoon count is pretty low at this point. Even though they do good damage against the Ultras, they are going to get surrounded, and GG is going to be called. Soma ends the game with mass Ultralisk. Beautifully done. Awesome game. And now we're tied up 1-1 in these 9 ladder games.